So Mark stopped by after work yesterday. We made a kind of a little corporate decision on one thing we wanted to do while he has the part off the bike. There's a couple little chips and nicks and things in the fairing that I wanted to still touch up. We did the bigger of the touch-ups. I'm going to try to, and I convinced him I thought this would be the right thing to do while we have it apart, is I'd just roughly wet sand everything down, get it rough, and then put one final coat of clear on everything, kind of seal in all the little repairs that we made. So even though we've worked on buffing and cleaning and everything looks pretty good so far, but that'll give it that extra little cherry on a Sunday. And I think because this is such a rare bike and a collector bike, it'll be well worth it. And it's one of the things I always believe, that if I have a part off the bike, a bolt, a nut, or a part, there's no point in, as long as I have it off the bike, do everything I possibly can to make it as nice as possible. So this is really an overkill thing, but it looks like we'll have a paintable day, no chance of snow, and we're going to get it done. Now KARYN asked me, while I'm doing Mark's part, I'll have clear in the gun later in the day. And so this is a little table that we had that's been used outdoors like a barbecue table. Now we use it indoors as a plant stand. And what I wanted to do is make it shiny black, the plate and the table. You can see that the pot, the oriental pot, is shiny. So what I'm going to do, I always have a gun with black in it. I'm going to take the table out first thing today, shoot the table black, and then when I do the clear on Mark's part, put a nice coat of clear on it. That may be the cherry on the sundae for KARYN's redecorating the house here. So what I decided to do, KARYN made a suggestion, and she had some things she had to do today, so I'm going to get out real early this morning and I'm going to get the table and this plate painted black. Then I'm going to let them sit in the garage or outside, depending on well, we're going to find out how cold it is out there. It's supposed to be in the 20s. And then I'll have the time while the black is drying, I can sand this down. It's just going to be a question of sanding, doing a final prep, mixing up. I'll probably mix up quite a bit of clear because I'd like to get a nice wet coat on that, or two, and certainly get this as shiny as possible. So in one day I hope to have a little craft project for KARYN done, and of course the cherry on a sundae for Mark. Now I'm giving it 2 coats of black, and I'll certainly get at least 1 or 2 coats of clear on this so it has a really nice shiny finish to match that oriental vase that we're using. I wanted to spray the bottom of this too. I want to get a coat on everything underneath, even where you don't see it. Yeah, I think that's going to really add a nice little touch to her living room. And it always amazes me what a few dollars worth of paint will do to renew something that's really old, and in this case it was kind of corroded. Now the reason I got an early start today, and I really got up early today, this is for you, Mark. I really got up early to finish this because I knew 2 things are going to happen. The wind is going to come up in an hour or 2, may even be on its way. It's going to come up now, I don't know. So far we're lucking out, but and it was only 23 I think in the garage when I flipped the battery tender. So this is going to take a little while to dry. At least normally this would be a 20-minute dry, probably going to be a half hour, 45 minutes. But in the meantime, I'll sand down all of Mark's parts, mix up a big batch of clear, and shoot clear on everything in one shot. Now here's another little side benefit to doing this. I've gotten rid of one more flat black thing out of my life. Everybody knows how I hate flat black. I'm excited to see how this is going to look when we're done. And another plate would come out looking good. That's not even a problem, but this is really going to look nice. I think KARYN's going to be real happy when she gets home. The first step with any of these things before we do any sanding, I took some simple green. Just make sure we get all the fingerprints and any of the stuff that's left from, we had some rubbing compound on this. But this will really hopefully be the cherry. I call it the cherry on a Sunday. Because there's a lot of little stone chips. I mean, this is a daily driver from Mark. He's ridden it, and we've ridden together, in fact. And there's a couple of spots on here that I'm going to just hit the white. There's a little scratch down there. And, well, we're definitely going to, what I hope is just put that extra little bit of TLC into the part. Now, another thing I can get while I'm doing this is I have to be real careful around the decals. See, because these are stickers, they're not decals, so they stick up above the paint a lot more than the decals. You got to be real careful I don't chop the edge of that off. So I'm just going to do a light sanding. I'm going to take some 1000 grit paper here, and just as gently as possible, just to scuff the surface. I don't want to go grinding in, and then when I get the airbrush, I'll touch up all the little spots that look like they may. Oh, there's one down here too. As I see them, I'd like to get all of them out if I possibly could. But the trick is here, where we have these, and these are vinyl stickers, they're unlike the rest of it. I don't want to go down and all of a sudden be missing an edge and have to touch it up somehow. But as long as I can get everything scuffed like that, we'll be in good shape. Now, one last thing, after all this 1000 grit sanding, I want to use some prep soil, and I want to do a really good job. I don't want to have any fingerprints on this because I've handled it. I got a lot of the material around there. We should actually be able to bury that a little bit nicer and clear. And there's a spot right here I'm going to touch up. I'll load up some white into the airbrush. There's a little spot along the bottom I noticed. Now, 1000 grit paper is a nice way to prep a part if you know you're going to put some paint over paint that you don't want to destroy the paint. You just want to get an extra coat of clear on. That's always the choice. And if you really have a delicate part, 1200 paper. 1000 grit gives enough of a tooth. And after I figured all this out, I go watch, I don't remember what show, Bitchin' Rides or something. And they were doing a job, and the guy says, the guy that's a professional, obviously I'm not, and oh, make sure you use 1000 grit paper. Well, you know, he could have said, well, I found that out on a Windy video, but or did I find it out on a Bitchin' Rides video? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, we are ready. We're gonna mix up the white, get the airbrush ready, and then get the clear on these parts. Oh, I'll tell you, every time you work on something like this, it just gets nicer and nicer and nicer. There's no substitute for just resanding parts out. Every time you do it, there's less and less little issues that you got to deal with. That's going to be really, Mark, that's going to be really, really nice. Again, I know I mentioned this before, but this is the clear that we've been using. I'm going to mix up a substantial amount all at once. It's 4 to 1, and get the table and the fairing done in probably in the next hour or so, hour and a half. Looks like we didn't beat the wind today, that's for sure. The wind is just starting to come up. And you can bet Karen's going to be really happy when she sees this table for the first time. That's really going to be nice. There was a couple of spots along the edge I wanted to get. Gonna dry for 5 minutes. I'll be ready for our clear. We got to jig it up for the clear. Now the reason we did this, I tried to get a spot close into the house because the breeze is not terrible, but it's not great either. But I think we have put that final coat of clear on. I think that's really going to look nice, really going to add the cherry to the sundae. We'll use up the rest of the clear on the table and we'll be good to go here before the day ends. Now as the day is played out, I see, ooh, ice forming on the pond already. Oh, we're way below freezing here. Let's see how that's coming out. Now we really did go the extra mile with this coat of clear. I really think it's going to be really nice at some point in time when we're riding the bike. Wow, that is going to be nice. Absolutely beautiful. And Mark, now the hard part. Don't scratch it. Anyway, that'll dry up and tomorrow morning we'll take a close look at it. It's going to sit out here overnight. And Karen's project really came out nice. What an upgrade. And it's always, you know, because she enjoys decorating the house the way I enjoy detailing out motorcycles. A little detail like this would really make her happy. Karen actually got to see this after the last coat. She was really a happy girl. So it's the best of all worlds. Mark should be happy. Karen's happy. And I'm looking up at the sky and it's gone up to about 28 degrees. I think I'm going to get me a nice quick 2-hour ride. We'll have to see about that. Well, believe it or not, we got enough time left in the day to get a nice short ride in. While that's drying, look at this. This is so nice. We got her parts out on the table drying, out in the bright sun. Mark's parts drying up here like jewelry. And we even have enough time to get a short ride in. What a day. What a great country.